In a small village surrounded by tall iroko trees and whispering streams, there lived a girl named Ifeoma. She was gentle, hardworking, and soft-spoken. Her mother had died when she was very young, and her father remarried a woman whose heart was as hard as stone. From the day Ifeoma's stepmother entered the house, her life changed. The woman had a daughter of her own, Nena, who was treated like a princess. Ifeoma, however, became a servant in the home she once called hers. She woke before sunrise, swept the compound, fetched water, cooked, washed clothes, and still endured insults and beatings. "You are useless, just like your dead mother," her stepmother would spit. Her father, weak and afraid of conflict, looked away. The darkness that came. One dry season afternoon, Ifeoma was sent to the forest stream to fetch water, alone. On her way back, her stepsister followed her, angry and jealous of Ifeoma's quiet beauty. They quarreled. In rage, Nena pushed Ifeoma. Ifeoma fell, her head hitting a sharp stone. When she woke, the world was dark. She screamed. She cried. But no one came. When she was finally found and taken home, her stepmother pretended to be shocked, but deep inside, she was pleased. "A blind girl is nothing but a burden," she said. From that day, Ifeoma was treated even worse. She was mocked, starved, and sometimes beaten for things she could no longer see. Yet every morning, despite her blindness, Ifeoma found her way to the stream, filling the path with her bare feet, guided by memory and faith. The man by the stream. One morning, a stranger stood by the stream watching her. He was Obinna, a wealthy man from the city who had returned to the village to inspect land his late father left behind. Dressed simply, but carrying quiet authority, he noticed how the blind girl knelt carefully, scooping water with practiced hands. He was moved. "Maiden," he called gently, "how do you find your way here alone?" Ifeoma smiled sadly. "When you lose your eyes, you learn to see with your heart." From that day, Obinna waited for her every morning. He began helping her carry water, listening to her story, her pain, her dreams. Without seeing her face, he fell in love with her soul. One evening, Obinna followed Ifeoma home and met her family. When he announced his intention to marry her, the compound exploded. "Never," her stepmother shouted. "Who will marry a blind beggar?" Plots followed. Lies were told. Ifeoma was hidden. Threats were made. But Obinna did not give up. He went to the elders. He paid the bride price publicly. He stood firm. "If love is blindness," he said, "then I choose to be blind forever." At last, shamed and overpowered by tradition, the stepmother agreed. Ifeoma was taken to the city as a wife, not a burden. Their home was filled with kindness. Obinna employed maids to care for her, but he himself guided her, fed her, and spoke to her like a queen. For the first time in her life, Ifeoma knew peace. Soon, she became pregnant. The village that once mocked her now whispered in disbelief. On the night Ifeoma went into labor, rain fell softly, as if the heavens were watching. After hours of pain and prayer, a midwife cried out. Twins. A boy and a girl. As Ifeoma held her babies, a warm light flooded her eyes. She blinked. She screamed. "I can see. I can see." The room fell silent. Ifeoma's sight had returned. At dawn, when her eyes opened fully, the first face she saw was her husband's, wet with tears, glowing with love. When news reached the village, her stepmother collapsed in shame.
Ifeoma has given
The same
birth to
girl
twins,
she tried to
and she
destroy
can see
had
again.
risen beyond her
This
reach.
cannot be true.
Ifeoma forgave,
You
but
two are
never
my little
returned to suffering.
miracles.
And you are ours,
She
my
became
love.
known as
Our
the woman
beautiful
who
family.
endured darkness and gave birth to light. And her story was told for generations. That kindness survives cruelty. That love sees beyond the eyes. And that destiny can never be blinded.